I think we have some time for a couple more. How about you? Come here, young man. Come here, come here. Oh, and what's your name, young boy?
I'm Dave Irwin, Santa.
Oh, Dave Irwin, it's so good to see you. And what can I give you this year for Christmas?
Can you bring the statue of Rodney to the village for us?
Well, if I could go ahead and employ one of my fattest elves to lift it up and put it in my sleigh this year, I think we could definitely try to do something. But then again, he's been eating so many candy canes and hookers.
I thank you, Santa. That'd be very helpful.
Do the hat line.
Now, Santa, where did you get that hat? Did you get a free bowl of soup with that too?
Oh dear. Along with the soup, it also came with a surcharge from Party City.
How did you get the idea to do this? What made you say, you know what, I want to take on this Rodney Dangerfield thing. I love him, and now I want to make a statue for him.
Right.
What started that?
Well, I guess it was a long process. I grew up in the village here, beautiful little village to grow up in. And I became a fan, I guess, in my early 20s. And you would hear different people say, yeah, Rodney was born here in the village, and you'd hear different rumors and stuff like that. And that always stayed in the back of my mind. And it was like, this man needs respect. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna try.
And that's the story of my life. No respect. I don't get no respect at all.
So, like it was about 4 years ago, Kew Gardens did something for him. Because after he moved away from here, he lived in Kew Gardens.
Right.
And they did a nice mural on the side of a building with a nice little plaque. And I'm saying, well, I don't understand why the village isn't doing anything. So that stayed in my mind, and I guess it was about 9 months ago, my phone was blowing up with Rodney stuff, and I didn't Google him. It was just boom, 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 boom. Checking it all out. And I said, okay, that's my sign. I don't know how to go about it, but I'm gonna do something.
I mean, it's not easy being me. When I was born, the doctor told my mother I did all I could, but he pulled through anyway.
So one day I'm talking to my son. He's out in California. It was a Saturday. And checking on him. How you doing? We're talking. And I said, Dave, I need to get this project going. He goes, I know, Dad. I know how passionate you are. I said, but I don't know, but I got to be smart. I got to either contact different people and, tell them my intentions is to get this gentleman a memorial of where he was born. He goes, all right, Dad, I got you. Not realizing he's Googling as we're talking the lawyer that Rodney had. So fast forward to that Tuesday, I text my son, I said, any word? Calls me right up. He goes, Dad, I just spent 15 minutes on the phone with Mrs. Dangerfield. She thinks you're the sweetest person to want to do this. Here's my phone number, and you can call me anytime. Okay, I'm like, oh, this is really gonna happen, So
why don't you get Mrs. Dangerfield involved? Now,
I'm thinking I'm gonna get a phone call from somebody, or not, But it was like, Mrs. Dangerfield, are you kidding me?
So it goes from just an idea with you and your son to all of a sudden, I got Joan Dangerfield involved in this thing, the widow of Rodney. It's just now taken a huge leap.
Right. And I'm like, hummada. I'm like Ralph Crampton. I'm like, what? So I went out and I picked up a notebook to write some things down that I wanted to ask her. Rumor was where he lived and stuff like that. So the following day, I give her a call, and sweetest woman you ever want to meet. And I tell her who I am. Oh, hi, And I said, you know what? It's an honor and a privilege. I can't believe I'm talking to you right now. And I'm also nervous. She goes, oh, don't be nervous, So I was fine, and we talked for over an hour the first time.
Wow.
She was telling me things about Rodney that nobody knows about, and she was just so personable and very sweet lady. And over the 9 months, we've become friends. who else can better be on your side than Mrs. Dangerfield? You know?
Yeah, exactly.
And then one day I came down to Gemelli's here, and we had a conference call with Derek and Stephanie and Mrs. Dangerfield, and I put my phone right in there, and we talked, and you know.
Very cool.
Yeah, it was good.
Now, whereabouts do you know where Rodney grew up around here? Like, do you know where was his stomping grounds?
I had an older gentleman about 3 months ago when I was walking. I walked into the golf store, which I think Golf Unique or something like that. And the older gentleman said, "Did you know where Rodney lived?" I said, "No, I really don't, you know, besides rumors." He goes, "Well, I'll tell you where he lived. He lived on the north side of the railroad tracks, and where there's baseball fields, Little League baseball fields, there was 4 houses. He lived in one of them. They knocked the houses down to build the fields." I said, "Wow, okay, there you go."
Rodney Dangerfield was born Jacob Cohen on November 22nd, 1921, in Babylon, Long Island.
But one thing about Babylon, the population never changes. Every time a kid is born, some guy leaves town, you know?
Why Argyle?
Because since I couldn't pinpoint the house that he grew up in and figuring out and all that, I said, you know what? Argyle, let's make it the center of attraction of the village of Babylon, so more people can see him instead of putting him on a corner somewhere, and he'll be on display as a regular guy, and Argyle, you know.
So I saw some of the renderings. There's 2 renderings that I saw of Rodney.
Right.
How do you want to memorialize him as far as the pose and the rendering?
I'm gonna leave that totally up to Mrs. Dangerfield, but we've discussed it, and she likes the old signature grabbing the tie,
Yes.
you know, and so I leave everything up to her. I don't do anything that she doesn't know about, and of course she's got to have the last say and everything.
Now you also mentioned too that there's a moment when you were working on this, and that you kind of felt almost like Rodney was whispering in your ear with the saying
Right.
that you want to put on the plaque,
Right.
on the statue.
Right.
Tell me what the saying is and what inspired that and the story behind it.
Okay. One night I'm watching TV, and I'm thinking, okay, there's going to be a plaque, and the notebook that I bought to write stuff down is become the Rodney Dangerfield book. And I write my contacts down and my notes and thoughts and ideas and stuff down there. So I get up and I grab the book, and I'm thinking, and all of a sudden it just starts flowing. I've made millions of people laugh as I searched for love and acceptance. I lived a full life and came back to where it all started from. Thank you, village of Babylon, for giving me what I longed for, respect. And I wrote that, and I'm like, sounds pretty good for me. So a couple days go by, and I'm talking to Mrs. Dangerfield on the phone. I said, by the way, I just jotted something down, and you know, I'm gonna run it past you. You can tell me yes, no, throw it out, you know, whatever. It just came in my mind. So I read it to her, and I felt she got a little emotional on the other end, you know, the other end of the phone. And I said, "Oh, I'm so sorry." And she goes, "No, don't be sorry. Do not change a word on that. That is beautiful." And I said, thank you. I felt that the spirit of Rodney was right there saying, "Kid, this is what you're gonna write." You know, and it just flowed, and that's what's gonna be on the plaque.
It gave me the goosebumps. It passed the goosebump test. It moved me. So I really like that a lot. What else do we need to do to get this statue built?
Well, I'm making an appointment to meet the mayor, and I have a councilman coming with me, and I'm going to lay it all out to her, and hopefully she likes the idea, and I'm going to explain to her how it's a win-win for the village. Besides giving the gentleman respect, it's a win-win for the whole chamber. People can do all kinds of things, and just there's millions and millions of fans. So the people that are going to come to this village and spend money on top of seeing the statue is the extra, or the bonus what the village is going to get. Besides, the number one reason is to pay this man respect.
Right.
But he's going to be in full display, and
it will draw people, to come here, see the statue, take pictures of the statue, all that stuff, and then, like you said, then they'll come to places like Gemelli's, and lunch and dinner and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I think this is great. So, what's your call to action? Look right into the camera and tell the people what they need to do to help you.
What do they need to do? They need to get on board and maybe come down to Gemelli's here if you're locally and sign the petition, and or go online to the Facebook page, to the Rodney Dangerfield project, and just support us. Once I meet the mayor and see what else we have to do as a group, I'm sure then there'll be a board meeting, and we're going to present it to the board. And once we get the go-ahead, we're going to start the funding and just have so much support. And the night of the board meeting, I want to pack that room with Rodney fans, just to see how much support that Rodney truly had.
And people can get that information about when that meeting will be, so Rodney fans can go. That will be on your group page.
Yes.
The Rodney Dangerfield.
Yes, I'm going to post all that on the Facebook page.
Okay, cool. And I'll put the Facebook information in the info of this interview, so people could follow the page and know when that this is going to be happening, because there's lots of Rodney fans, especially on Long Island, but all around the world.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
And tell us, what's your favorite Rodney line? Do you have a favorite Rodney joke?
Not really, because they all made me fall out of my chair. But the one joke that made me realize that he was truly from the village was, he says, the town was so small I grew up in that I plugged in my electric razor and the trolley stopped. The village of Babylon had a trolley.
Right.
So without having proof, that proved to me that man was from here. You can Google him and they'll say Deer Park. I don't know what was up with Deer Park or just Babylon, but the village of Babylon was truly where he grew up.
I was born Jacob Cohen, C-O-H-E-N, in Babylon, Long Island, 58 years ago.
So I saw that too on his bio page on Wikipedia. It says Deer Park or whatever.
Right,
but Deer Park is great.
Exactly.
But it's Babylon is where it's at.
The village is where
the village of Babylon.
Let's do this, people.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
I guess to remember me, well, I have an image that I created. I don't get no respect. And that's something that will stay on, I guess, after I'm gone.